In this video, I'll uncover the top causes of fatty liver and what you must do in order to reverse this health condition. The number of people suffering from fatty liver disease is absolutely alarming. It's estimated that in the United States alone that over 100 million people are suffering from this issue, most of which don't even know that they have this problem. Now, furthermore, most people don't even know what causes it. And so that's why in this video, I want to share with you some of the tips that I use clinically in order to help so many people. And I want to answer the question for you, what is a fatty liver caused from? So we're going to basically go through what fatty liver is and then give you all the different ways that it's caused. And then at the end of this video, what I'll do is I'll share with you the top strategies for reversing fatty liver, because you can reverse it. So I'm going to share with you those top strategies. So stick around to the end. But before we get started, I'm Dr. Zyrowski and welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, it's a pleasure to have you here. Be sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification, and join our notification community. That way it can help you excel your health and your life. Let's talk about fatty liver. Let's talk about what it is. Now, this is referred to as hepatic steatosis, okay? Essentially what this is, in very simple terms, it's a buildup of fat within the liver. This buildup of fat in the liver causes a lot of problems. It's gonna cause problems like scarring in the liver. It's gonna cause a lot of inflammatory issues in the liver. And let me tell you, if you have inflammatory issues within the liver, you have inflammatory issues throughout the entire body. That's because the liver is the organ that supports all organs. The liver has over 300 vital functions in the body. One of the major vital functions that it has is actually going and purifying the bloodstream, removing toxins from the bloodstream. It also does things like helping you process the nutrients that you're getting from the food that you're eating, the drinks that you're drinking. And so we want to make sure that we're supporting the liver, because if the liver is suffering, then the whole body is suffering. And it's estimated that this problem of fatty liver affects over 40% of people. So we have to make sure that we're taking proper steps in the right direction in order to reverse this issue, because there's a good chance that you could be suffering from it. And what I'll do too is I'll put a link in the description below to a fatty liver support nutritional supplement that we utilize in my clinic. It's clinically relevant. It is dosed properly. It works very well. It's a great way to start reversing this fatty liver. But let's talk about the different causes of this. Now, first one here is going to be insulin resistance. Okay, there's a lot of people, just like fatty liver, many people are suffering from insulin resistance and they have no clue. So when we look at insulin resistance, it's basically going to be categorized into like pre-diabetes and also type 2 diabetes, okay? Now, when we look at both of these issues, like I said, a lot of people are suffering from it. It's estimated that 1/3 of teenagers are suffering from pre-diabetes, okay? Now, when we look at diabetes in general, this is something that used to be referred to as adult onset diabetes, okay? It's no longer referred to as that because it's onsetting in so many children. And so 1/3 of teenagers have this issue. It's estimated that 87 million people in the United States have pre-diabetes. Of these 87 million people who have pre-diabetes, 30 to 50% will turn into full-blown diabetes, okay? Once again, we're talking about this path that you're on that you must get off of if you want to go in and actually improve your health and not have these issues we're talking about. Now, 30 to 50% turn into diabetes, type 2 diabetes we're referring to, and then of those, 80% of the type 2 diabetics are going to have non-alcoholic fatty liver, okay? So insulin resistance is a major reason that many people are suffering from non-alcoholic fatty liver. If this is something you have, then what you want to do is you want to start working to reverse it. Let's go ahead and talk about the next major reason. That's obesity, okay? Another major problem. It's estimated that 1/3 of US adults have this issue. And when you look at obesity, it's basically referred to as a body mass index over 30, okay? So they basically do a calculation where you take your height, you take your weight, and if you have a body mass index over 30, that is referred to as obesity. And this many people are suffering from this issue, which is crazy, okay? But let's take this a step further, because you don't have to be obese in order to have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. You simply can just have some belly fat. And basically, when we look at obesity, that is basically the point in which they know beyond shadow of a doubt, like you have a bunch of different conditions. You probably have high blood pressure, you probably have high cholesterol, you probably have insulin resistance, you have all these issues going on. But the problem is a lot of people just have simple belly fat. And of these people, who have belly fat, it's basically estimated that they're starting to have some different metabolic syndrome. And when they have belly fat that is on their body, essentially they are going to typically have one certain criteria for metabolic syndrome. So that might be high blood pressure, that might be just insulin resistance, that might be just high cholesterol. And it's estimated that 91% of the adults have body fat that they need to get rid of so that they don't have these issues. And it's estimated that 69% of children have belly fat that they really need to get rid of so that they can avoid these issues. So, you know, it's not just about being obese. We know beyond a shadow of a doubt, you truly know this, that it's not about being obese. It's if you have that belly fat, you can still have these issues. I know so many different young adults. I know so many teenagers, I work with them, and they have insulin resistance. They're starting to have all these problems of fatigue and, not able to sleep at night and all these different symptoms. And they're young individuals. You know what? They have insulin resistance. You don't have to be diagnosed. You don't have to be someone who is eating a completely horrible diet, right? You can actually be someone who just is more prone to it. You can be, just getting off your diet a little bit and have this issue. But most individuals are drinking tons of sugary sodas, ice creams, that kind of thing. And as a result, they have this issue of obesity and insulin resistance. High blood sugar is another one. Okay, let's talk about high blood sugar. So high fructose corn syrup is a major reason that so many people have fatty liver and high blood sugar. When we look at most of the different products out there, it's sweetened with high fructose corn syrup. It's a very inexpensive sweetener, but it is also very burdensome on the liver. Okay, so when you consume high amounts of fructose from high fructose corn syrup, essentially it goes right to the liver, and in the liver it has to be processed so that it can be used as energy, or it can be stored as glycogen in the liver or in the muscles. And so this high fructose corn syrup is very burdensome on the liver, and it causes fatty liver deposits, or fat deposits in the liver, I should say. And as a result, you're going to get fatty liver. High sugar drinks, high sugar foods are all culprits here. And then of course, a diet that is high in refined carbohydrate intake. Okay, these are all things we got to cut out, but high blood sugar is something that is causing a lot of fatty liver. So if you're not familiar with blood sugar, I'll put a link in the description below to a video I did on it. You can actually get a very simple monitor right in the comfort of your home, test your blood sugar, your fasting blood sugar, your blood sugar around meals, and you can easily go in and determine if you're someone who has high blood sugar all the time. Now let's go ahead and talk about the next thing here, and that is the side effects of medications. It's estimated that 55% of adults in the United States are on a medication, and of those 55%, it's estimated they are on 4 or more medications. Many of these medications of which are actually causing fatty liver disease, and they have it as a side effect. So make sure that if you're on medications, you talk to your doctor, and you work to determine if it's something that is actually making fatty liver a problem in your life, or if it's even making the fatty liver that you know that you have worse. So be aware of that. Next thing here is elevated blood lipids. This is another thing that many people have a problem with. It's estimated that 1/3 of people have high cholesterol. If we want to make sure that we're reversing fatty liver, or we're reducing the risk of fatty liver, we want to make sure that our blood lipids are in check, and we also want to make sure that we're avoiding this issue. Now, genetics also plays a role in it. Now, we all know the people who really just don't live a very good lifestyle, but somehow they kind of just skate by and they're never sick, and they just get away with it, right? Well, some people have some really good genetics in certain areas, and some people have genetics that are making them more prone to problems like insulin resistance, more prone to problems with like fatty liver, more prone to problems like high cholesterol, high blood triglycerides. So we want to make sure that when we talk about genetics, that if you're someone who has ever went and got your genetics tested, you're realizing that I may be more prone to these issues, and because of that, as a result, I'm going in and making the changes necessary to avoid fatty liver. Now let's go ahead and talk about what to do, because this is really something that we have to understand. First of all, we need to exercise daily. If we're not exercising, we need to start exercising. I'm someone who exercises between 5 and 6 days a week, and I recommend that most people do at least between 3 and 5 days a week. And I'm not talking about going to the gym and being a bodybuilder or the next long distance runner. I'm just referring to get out and get moving. Exercise comes in so many shapes and forms, whether it's a brisk walk, whether it's 10 minutes of high intensity training, whatever it is, make sure that you're getting exercise daily. So important. Nutritional support is also very important. I talked about one at the very beginning of this video. You can use things like the N-acetylcysteine, the liver assist formula. I mean, these things all really help reversing fatty liver. But taking supplementation is very beneficial for this. It helps speed up the process. But what you really have to make sure that you're doing is cleaning up your diet. Okay, so be sure to clean up your diet. You want to be eating a low carb diet. You want to make sure that you're eating all whole foods. You don't want to be eating all these processed, packaged junk foods out there. So eat low carb, remove all sugar from your diet for the time being. If you're going to have fruit, make sure it's just like some berries, the low glycemic fruits that are high in micronutrients, high in antioxidants. Make sure that you're eating a moderate protein diet, and then you can increase your fats at this time, because the fats that are good fats are actually very beneficial for you. It's healthy for not only your nervous system, but every cell in your body. So we want to make sure that we're eating low carb, moderate protein, high fat, and we want to make sure that we're eating whole foods and pulling the sugar out. So be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Put in the comment section here what your problem is with fatty liver, or if you know somebody who has fatty liver. And then over here, be sure to check out this video on how to do the ketogenic diet. The ketogenic diet is powerful for fatty liver. Look at it here. A sugar burner to a fat burner is really powerful because it's going to help you not only feel better,